bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game.
Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. Woo! Today's Thursday, December 7th, 341 days into the new year. Just 24 days left, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? All right. Tonight's very special guest, Korinne Wilson, is here, the occult priestess. We had to reschedule Korinne from Monday when this crazy week kicked off here for Southern California and affected so many of us and interrupted the broadcast. And so we had to reschedule things, and Korinne's going to be with us tonight. I'm very excited about this conversation that we're about to have, and I need to escape. So does Rita, and so do all of you. It's been a very trying week for us here, and a very trying day. It's just been crazy, and we'll get to all of that. Yes, the fires are still burning. Okay, so Korinne is here now. We will be back next week with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. Another little scheduling conflict because we needed to move some stuff around, and John had some stuff going on, and we just couldn't do it. We couldn't pull it off. Obviously, we would have if we could have. We just couldn't pull it off, and so John is taking a night off tonight. He's probably like, man. Because he had a lot going on today. So, therefore, and it was just funny. I said, dude, no stress, man. Let's not stress. Let's not try to make something happen and then just stress out. Let's just tap out, man. He's like, yeah, right on. And he is, he's from Southern California or lived out here forever. And he was telling me today that he lived across the freeway there from the Getty Center, where the fire is, that they're calling the Skirball fire. Skirball Circle, when you come down or up the 405, that's the exit that you take for the Getty Center and Bel Air and UCLA. You can get to UCLA from there. And that's why they're calling it the Skirball fire. But when you're coming down, it's weird. I don't even know what Skirball means. I guess it's named after somebody. I don't know. And but when you come down the 405, especially like your first time in Southern California, where you're going up or down right there, the valley is on one side of the mountains in the middle. Los Angeles is on the other side, and the 405 freeway connects the two, north and south. It's the main artery between the two. And so, your first time in L.A., you're either going to go up the 405 past Skirball, or you're going to come down the 405 past Skirball. But everybody does the same thing. I've had it happen so many times. So what's Skirball? It's just a weird name. and it's right there. And so they're calling this the Skirball fire. And Rappaport's like, man, I lived right there. I was like, yeah, man, wow, it torched. So anyway, yes, all of the fires are still burning here, and we are totally exhausted. And I can't imagine. You know what? I'll get to all of that in a second. So let's set up the show for tonight. John Rappaport will be back next Thursday. Okay? Oh, man. Let's see. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. Everything's Fade to Black. You know what to do. You can go follow, like, and subscribe over on our website. You can do that now. The buttons are right there. If you want to join in on the sandbox tonight, you can do that. Hashtag F2B. Very simple. Hashtag F, the number 2B. We use TweetDeck here. And if you don't have TweetDeck, get TweetDeck. It runs automatically. It is Twitter, but it's a version of Twitter that you don't have to think about, and you can get a bunch of conversations going on at the same time. Okay, so very simple. Get TweetDeck, get it going. Scott just said, Bill Cosby's son was killed on Skirball. Yes, he was. That was pretty crazy. Had a flat tire, right? Pulled over. Somebody pulls up in back of him, I guess probably to carjack. I mean, it happened at, like 2 a.m. or something. Killed his son. Yeah. Right there, Skirball Circle. Okay. Any questions or comments during the show? Hashtag F2BQ. Hello to everybody that is on the bunker cam tonight. All of you crazy Fadernauts. And don't forget, it is Christmas. And so, cool gifts to give, right? How about a Fade to Black membership, right? A game changer. Gift that. Somebody will get a hat, an autographed hat, T-shirts, a 1-year subscription, get the bunker cam. That's a really cool gift. So you can do that. Just go to the membership area. And our podcast, which is only $2 a month, you can help support the show through that. And all of our sponsors, great gifts. If you really want to do some great gifts for the holiday season, visit our sponsors. Life Change Tea, there's a great gift. Giving a gift for somebody's health, like Life Change Tea or New Pharma, and all of the promo codes that you need are right there in the banners on our website. But Life Change Tea, Fader, easy. New Pharma, F2B, River Moon Coffee. What a great Christmas gift right there, right? River Moon Coffee. F2B blend, you're going to get 15% off of your order, and you're going to be able to give somebody a great Christmas gift. Great Christmas gifts for yourself, too, if you think about it. New Mana. I can't say enough about New Mana. This stress that we went through this week, and I'm being so serious right now. When emergencies like this happen, like what we're going through right now in Southern California, you just never know when situations like this can happen, and you just need to be prepared. Thank goodness that we have New Mana in our lives, and that Rita and I got our heads together and just went out and said, you know what, we need to just make sure that we have things. So I went out, things like this, right? Flashlights. Do you have a flashlight? Do you have one of these? You need one of these, right? That's what you need, one of these. So we have flashlights everywhere now. We have emergency power, backup. We have emergency food. We have cases and cases of water, instant coffee. Who would have thought about things like instant coffee? So New Mana took that worry away. I could worry about anything else, but I didn't have to worry about food. So New Mana, visit New Mana. It will take the pressure off of everything, knowing that you have at least that part of your life sussed out, which is food for you and your family. New Mana. Spend $100, get an autographed Fade to Black shirt. Okay? It's that simple. Visit New Mana. One of the great companies out there, American made, right? No MSG, no GMOs. There you go. New Mana food storage. Okay. All of the fires that have been going on this week are still burning. We've been dealing with these fires all day long. It's 24-hour live news coverage on all of the channels here in Southern California. And as I speak to you right now, everything is still on fire, okay? So the Sylmar fire, which is just north of us here, which kisses right up to Burbank, is 10% contained, is now consumed, just another live report. I think it's 15,000 acres. It started off on Tuesday morning, 1,000 acres, went to 4,000 acres. It's now 15,000 acres. The Ventura fire, which they're calling the Thomas fire, 10% contained. As of today, over 115,000 acres burned, 439 homes destroyed. Jumping the freeway down to the beaches. Now they're talking about it moving into Santa Barbara. It's up into Fillmore, which means where it's sitting right now, it's only got a little mountain range in between the San Fernando Valley. And where we are in Burbank, we can look out the windows and go up. Well, we're down, we're underground right now, but the windows from our house and look out and you can see, right? So we've got a fire. It's just crazy, the glowing of these fires. And so that is going on. Another fire broke out today in Marietta, down near Temecula, and that was live on the news all day today. They broke out that massive 747 supertanker for the first time. There's reasons why it hasn't been used. It's high winds and other things, and it can only be used in certain situations. But it will drop 19,000 gallons of stuff, whether it's water or flame retardant material, at a time. And watching that thing do the dump today was pretty incredible. So that's going on. We have the Bel Air fire. We have the Rye fire. It's insane. I just can't tell you enough. Now, as tired as I am, as exhausted as I am, mentally too, this is a mental challenge. Everybody in Southern California is on the same edge that I am. It's all going on at the same time. And this is now Thursday. The reports are, I don't know what you're hearing around the country or around the world, that the winds are going to continue increasing all the way through Sunday. Increasing. That this just isn't going to stop until the winds, until Sunday. This is a wind-driven fire. I can't help but speculate. And, you know, as you get tired, your mind starts to wander a little bit. And you're just wondering, man, is this intentional? Did somebody run around and start these fires? We had this strange, ominous warning. And this, I spoke to Rita right before the show on Monday. And I said, you know, the winds are coming. And you know what that means? You know, they're talking about fires. And sure enough, you know, it was just like, man, okay, I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying somebody's setting these fires. I'm not saying that it's intentional. I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying anything, but I was on the 10 freeway. This is probably 1995, and I'm driving up the 10 freeway, and I'm going to a meeting out in like San Bernardino, right? And I'm driving. And I see, as I'm driving on the other side of the freeway, not on my side, on the other side, I see this smoke, right? Driving, and there's this fire, and it's about, 10 feet around. I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird. And I'm driving up the freeway, and there's another one, and I'm thinking somebody's throwing cigarettes out of their car or something, you know? And I pass like 5 of these, and somehow, now this is going against traffic, right? This is on the other side. The highway patrol had somebody in handcuffs. Dude was driving, not on the freeway, like on an access road off of the freeway, was going up and starting fires on the side of the freeway. And it just blew my mind. Why would somebody do that? You know, and there were houses and there's things, you know, why would you, they had that guy in cuffs. So anyway, and you look at the patterns of these fires and how they're, it just makes you wonder. You know, this fire off of the 405 freeway. It's on the freeway. Starts on the freeway, right? Here in Burbank, right off of the 210, fire, right? It's just weird. The Thomas fire off of the 133, 33, whatever goes up into Ojai. It's all kind of, you know, Temecula today off of the 15 freeway. It's just all freeway, or, you know, and it's, man, I don't know. It just, I'm tired. Just tired. My brain is starting to think the weird thoughts. And this is the other part. As tired as I am and everybody else is in Southern California, I was looking at Rita before the show tonight, and Rita and I were talking, and we instantly just like went a little bit. And we're like, man, just stop. We need to stop. We're just tired. But think of these firefighters. Think of these guys. It's now Thursday. They've been going at this since Monday. I don't know how these guys sleep. There is no rest for anybody. All of the adjacent fire departments throughout Southern California are assisting the other fire departments. All of the pilots and all of the helicopters and all of the planes are running 24/7. These guys are just rushing from hot spot to hot spot. You know, these fleets of things, you know, you see them everywhere, you know, and how are these guys getting rest, and where are they? Where's their mind right now? You know, it's crazy, and they can't rest. They can't rest. This is going on all night, all day, constantly. And is there something else behind it? I don't know. Is it a message? I don't know. I'll say this. I was talking to Korinne before the show. This is the thing. We're trying to get the handle on all of this, and you're not going to beat Mother Nature. You're just not. Mother Nature will win every single time. You can do whatever you want. The preventive measures, making sure you have food and water and batteries and flashlights and gas in your car, and you've got an escape plan and all of that. Okay, that's you can prep all you want, but you're not going to win. Mother Nature will make sure of that. So just, is this some crazy situation? I don't know. Yeah, 2016 versus 2017 fire map. I did see that today. It's an eye-opener. All right. Our next event is coming up at the Conscious Life Expo. It will be February 9th through the 12th, 2018 at the LAX Hilton. The banner over at jimmychurchradio.com is right there. You can click on it and go over and check out all of the information that you need as far as tickets go, and all of the special events, of course, lodging and food and all of that stuff. You can go and check it out over at Conscious Life Expo. I will be hosting the Ancient Aliens panel Friday night, and so tickets for that are available over at the ConsciousLifeExpo.com website. And I do want to see all of you there. I can't believe it. Today is December 7th. So it's coming up here in less than 2 months. We will be at the Conscious Life Expo. All right. Now, let's get a few other things out of the way. I want to wish happy birthday to today. C. Thomas Howell is 51. Now, as I say C. Thomas Howell, what pops in your mind first? I know what it does for me. It's E.T., the extraterrestrial. But he was in a lot of really good movies and TV series. But it's just funny. E.T. pops into mind first. Happy birthday. Today, 51. Also, today, Jennifer Carpenter is 38. And she was Dexter's girlfriend. I think I'm right on that. Rita? Am I right on that? Jennifer Carpenter, she was Dexter, right? Am I right? OTD. On this day in history, that's right, it's December 7th, 1941 at 7:55 a.m. Hawaii time, Pearl Harbor is bombed on this day, 1941. Fader fact. Check this out. The average video gamer in the United States, the average is 35 years old. Yeah, can't forget Red Dawn. I left that for you guys. I wanted to see who was on top. C. Thomas Howell, Red Dawn. I just wanted to see where you guys were at, right? You thinking Henry Thomas and E.T., not C. Thomas Howell? No, I'm thinking C. Thomas Howell, Karen. I'm thinking C. Thomas Howell. I'm pretty confident in this one. Somebody better go in IMDb C. Thomas Howell. Make sure. Could I be? No. That was C. Thomas Howell. Man, don't make me do this live on the air. Okay. C. Thomas Howell, right there. Okay. IMDb, known for, let's see, E.T. It's right here, Karen. Don't, man. See, the thing is, the reason why I even remember that is, man, that guy has done a lot of movies. E.T., the Extraterrestrial, 1982. Oh, it's funny. It says here as Henry Thomas, but yeah, C. Thomas Howell. That's what I just always think of him. Elliot. Yeah, that's him. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you a pass card on that, Karen, except for Karen's like, she thought it was two different people. Elliot, man. Okay, where was? Oh, yeah. So, fate or fact: the average United States video gamer is 35 years old, and when we think of, and this is a generational thing, I'm assuming that most people think of a video gamer, somebody 14, 15, 16 years old, in their bedroom or in their parents' living room with a headset on, playing whatever, some video community and is doing their thing and wasting their life, right? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying. Not wasting their life. It's productive. You can make a lot of money doing that these days. But I think that's the average, that's what pops into mind. 35 years old. The average. Now, let's go into the bell curve, right? The average, 35. Right, and then let's just swing out from that, right? The average is 35. Now, I've read a lot of reports. I think I talked about this last year, that female video gamers, 35 years old, and it's like 50%, right? So don't think it's the loser kid male 14. You need to take that out of the mix. It's not. It's 35 years old. It's just a mind-blowing thing. Now, I remember going out, I was probably, I'm going to go 30 years old, 1993, 1994, 95, when I was out buying Diablo and Diablo 2 and Tomb Raider and getting a PlayStation and Gran Turismo and doing my video gaming thing. And I was thinking, this is what I thought. I'm too old to be doing this. They're going to look at me like I'm not the right person to be buying these video games. But I was fully into it, and I invested, man. I spent everything. I had I did everything that I could. And so I was thinking about this today, right? 35 years old. And I'm one of those guys. I'm one. Today I am 54. But Rita, can I talk about video gaming a little bit here? Rita and I went out and bought a couple of months ago. We went out and bought a PS4. We got the whole thing, man. We got the, we got all the extras. I think we got which one did we get? Did we get a 1 terabyte system? Got a 1 terabyte and God of War, whatever. And what's that game? Knock Yourself Out, she says. Thank you, Rita. What is the Uncharted 4? Yeah, we're playing that. It's actually pretty good. I think we have 3 and 4. Right, Rita? Is that what we're playing now? We're doing God of War, and the new God of War is coming out. God of War, I guess it would be 4 or 5, whatever the new one is. And we're into this, right? And I'm 54 years old. Is it okay to be a gamer at my age? Yeah, okay, so Mark just says you're never too old. Is that okay? You know, Uncharted is legit. I know. Uncharted is pretty bleeping cool. But is it okay to be, I don't feel at my age, at 54, that is a crazy number to my mind. But I don't feel 54. I don't think do I look 54? Do I look 54 right now as you guys are looking? Do I look 54? No, right? I just don't feel it. I think it's okay. PS4 is wife's worst nightmare. She plays it more than I do. Oh, is that what you mean? Right? She plays it more than I do. It was Rita's idea. Don't even think that was me. Oh no, I bought that for Rita. We love video gaming. We do, and we've invested a big part of our life. And the thing is, and what I'm saying is, video gaming, it doesn't matter if it's computer based or if you've got a console. It's the technology that is involved, and you do appreciate not only the technology, but you learn a lot about technology, and that's part of the culture that we live in today. But it helps me understand screen rates and refresh rates and bit rates, and oh man, yeah, it's unbelievable what you learn from gaming. And that's it. There's no shame in my game. 35 years of no shame in my game. 35 years old is the average age of United States video gamers. All right, I'm going to get out of here. When I come back, our guest tonight, Korinne Wilson. We're going to do everything tonight. She is the occult priestess, but we're going to talk about Hermes. We're going to talk about Egypt. We're going to talk about history. We're going to talk about channeling. We're going to do a little bit of everything. Also, and if you go to her website, nightmares, right? Sleep paralysis. We might even get into some of that tonight and take some of your phone calls and tarot cards. Who knows? All right? Stay right there. I'll be right back. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Korinne at Occult Priestess. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger-looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right. Well, it is Thursday night, and we had the John Rappaport music queued up. But our guest tonight is Korinne Wilson. She's educated and experienced in the psychic arts, Reiki, alternative healing, tarot, psychology, symbolic interpretation, Buddhism, 12-step recovery counseling, cleansing and purification, states of consciousness, shamanic soul counseling, ascension, kundalini, rituals, spellcraft, soulcraft, starseeds, spiritual warfare, psychic self-defense, world mythology, I'm out of breath, hidden history, and ancient traditions. Korinne is a vessel for the God energy of Hermes, who is her master soul guide, often assisting in her work and studies. She has attained great awareness of her soul, her starseed origins, her past lives, and her missions here on Earth and the Earth plane. She is a psychopomp, walking between the worlds and guiding souls to the truth of oneness. Her website is occultpriestess.com, and I'm so glad that she made it in tonight, despite everything that is going on here in Southern California. Korinne, welcome to Fade to Black. How are you?
Hello, Jimmy Church. Thank you. I am honored.
Oh, no, the honor is ours, and what a crazy night it was on Monday, and you were, in the batter's box, ready to go. And then Southern California and Mother Nature wrestled control of everything. It was a pretty dramatic week here. How are you doing down there? You're south of L.A.?
I am, about 10 minutes south of downtown, and everything's normal here. We get a little bit of smoke and whatnot, but of course we're all watching what's happening up north, just a little ways from here.
Yeah, pretty insane what is going on here. And I can't help but think, if I'm emotionally drained, right, there are millions here in Southern California that are all going through the same thing, this emotional thing that they have to deal with every single day. And it's not only you have the fires, but then you have everything that are the consequences of that. You have friends, family, you have traffic, you have jobs, schools closing. And just a disruption of everything here in Southern California. There's got to be some kind of shift in consciousness going on right now, isn't there?
You just said a mouthful, the shift in consciousness. While I was praying for you and Rita, and hopefully the winds would turn and everything would be okay for you guys, I tapped into the ether or emotional layer of what was going on, kind of on a higher level. And what I felt was a great compassion growing. People understanding that they're all in the same boat at the same time, and then this wonderful well of compassion that is being cultivated through these very difficult lessons.
It's powerful. The mind is powerful. And with everybody thinking the same thing at the same time, dealing with this, there's got to be an energy out there, and we need to find it too. That's the other thing here. I'm saying, Los Angeles, Southern California, where these fires now are going all the way from the northern side of Malibu and Ventura, all the way down now into San Diego County, and then going out east, to Burbank and where we are, and now Marietta and Temecula. And
I heard San Francisco even.
I haven't heard that yet. Are you kidding?
No, I'm sorry I didn't look into it, but I did hear that there was a fire now near San Francisco.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's got to be an energy wave out there. We have to figure. What I mean is, we here in Southern California, we have to lift ourselves up. We can't get bummed out because it's exhausting mentally. And this is the other thing. And then we'll get back to you. I mentioned this in the opening of the show. The firefighters, these guys, men and women, I have been going at it now since Monday. I don't know how they ever sleep. They can't. They must be taxed. They've got to be at the end of their rope.
And in some ways, I'm sure, spiritually speaking, they're feeling like the biggest heroes, like when they were little kids, what they wanted to be, what they wanted to do. They are now being put into action to do it in a very big way. Well,
yeah, that's a really, really good point. It's their gig, right? I mean, seriously, they are the heroes. There's just no doubt. I mean, when the rest of the country, this is the thing that I trip on the most about this, is the rest of the country sees one thing. But here in Southern California, we have the news going on 24 hours a day, and then we can see the fires burning at night. The skies are glowing. Everywhere that you look, it's going. And those firefighters are there working 24 hours a day. Mother Nature doesn't go, okay, all right, it's 9 to 5, right? You can punch out and we'll resume this in the morning. That's not how it goes. It's a constant thing.
Yeah, and they are hypervigilant. They're not mourning over each tree right now. They are in military mode, getting it done. So that is a state of mind that we get into, like a pregnant woman can lift a car. I mean, they really are in heroic mode right now. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about you. And thank you for adjusting your schedule and coming on with us tonight. What's
funny, Jimmy, is just about every big interview, and believe me, I think this is a big interview, that I get on, there is a tragedy right beforehand, and we must take the first few minutes and speak about that. So this is definitely something that is timely and that we're all learning together, like you were pointing out. I think it's very important that we all take a moment and adjust to that. We have woken up in a new world, so to speak.
Yeah. And when I see things like this going on, I have to stop and think a little bit here, or a lot, about the other parts of the country and the world, what they have been going through for the last 6 months, the last year, 6 months, with all of the, the hurricanes, the earthquakes in Mexico City, everything that went on in Texas and Florida and the Caribbean and Puerto Rico, that is still ongoing. They're still dealing with this. That is exhausted as we are here in Southern California, that this is what has been going on. Mentally, we are being tested. We're being tested right now like no other time before. And it's an interesting thing to see everybody go through it. I myself right now, I'm toasted, right? I'm toasted, just like I'm not the only one. Everybody in Southern California right now, we're just exhausted. We've been dealing with this every single day for 5 days, and it's been nonstop. But we're not We're not the exception here. Everybody has been going through this. Now, what I did want to ask you first off is, now I've met you a few times over the years, and you've been a part of this community. But how did you get into it? Let's go back a little bit. What were your parents like? Are you from Southern California, or are your parents from that type of culture?
Excellent. I was born in Ohio. I am Native American Cherokee. At least that's mostly what I claim, to be Native American Cherokee. And actually, the weirdest thing, conspiracy-wise, about my childhood is that my grandmother was the sibling of Senator John Glenn. And during the Depression, they were both sent to, where they adopt children, where they take care of children when the parents can't afford it. And her brother, Senator John Glenn, was adopted out, and she went back to her original family, which is now, of course, my family. So I heard a lot of rumors about that when I was little. And as I, grew up, I understood that this was a bloodline situation, which I'm sure we'll get into later. I was then raised in a Jehovah's Witness family. My grandmother became a Jehovah's Witness. And again, later, I realized that was a type of a cult type religion, the way that I was treated within it, that I needed to think along certain lines or I was no longer loved or accepted. And that was a big point in my childhood because I was born very, very spiritual. And you may say I got more spiritual understanding that I had sleep paralysis since I can remember. And sleep paralysis is a type of nightmare, if you like, that features, for me, it featured a 3D shadow of a man, which I thought was the boogeyman. And that came to me almost nightly. And that was a side effect almost of my astral journeys. So you can see you're dealing with a psychic child here that was raised in a very closed environment, if you will.
I don't want to let John Glenn get by us or get past us. Did you ever meet him?
I did not. My grandmother was the only one who went to the reunions with the Glenn family.
And what city in Ohio?
I believe so. They were from London, Ohio, and Grandma's last name was Mari, Mari. If someone wants to look that up, that'd be great.
Okay, so but you never got a chance to meet him. I mean,
this was like a family secret that we were only told in private.
Right. Did he ever talk about it?
No. In fact, if you look at the Wikipedia, those are his natural parents.
Interesting.
The Glenn family, yes.
Wow. I mean, talk about an American hero, right? Woof. And
that's a bloodline to be in, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty tasty stuff right there. And I mean, seriously, I didn't know about this. I love learning things. Plus, he was like the oldest guy to go back into space too, right?
And he was pretty much active until he died just a couple years ago.
Yeah. An American hero, no doubt. I wasn't, growing up, all of our, all of the young kids, the little boys here in the United States, they all had their favorite astronauts, and he had his fan club. I wasn't a John Glenn guy. I was a Gordon Cooper guy. And I don't know, especially now knowing how outspoken Gordon Cooper was on the UFO subject and everything else that had turned. I just kind of liked his name when I was like 8 years old, 7 years old. So I wasn't on the John Glenn bandwagon. I was a Gordon Cooper guy. But that's very interesting. That's a very, very, very heavy bloodline.
Exactly. And that's where I've concurred that sleep paralysis came from, is to be born into a bloodline that what we say is a generational curse, but that's kind of a folk way of saying it. It's that you are a very bright light and you will be seen by dark things. And we can, of course, get into that in a much slower way.
Well, and we will. Sleep paralysis is something that is very interesting because I've spoken about my little episode that I had. It was 20 years ago now, but it was interesting for me to have callers, one after another, share their experiences about it with me. I didn't speak about it to anybody when it happened. And I don't know if I was embarrassed about it. I don't know if that's part of it or if it was too strange or, maybe nobody would relate to it. But I didn't speak about it for 10 years or longer.
There's a lot of shame involved in experiencing something metaphysical and then trying to explain it to your peer group. Because that works for the Matrix. You understand that's the Matrix keeping you down, man. It's making you sheep.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And how often did it happen to you?
My sleep paralysis happened usually every night as I was about to go to sleep, and that's all through childhood. I was given a break once in a while. I don't know, what caused it in that sense that I was given a break. Except for maybe I was just too stressed and too taxed, because also dealing with that at night, I had an abusive childhood family. So I was actually getting battered and kind of yelled at and just negativity throughout the day, plus that at night. So I had to grow up and be a trooper at a very young age.
Explain to me, I think you just said that it happened as you were going to sleep.
That's right.
Now, that's the opposite of what most people experience, right?
No, not in my experience with who I've talked to. I'm also in a feature film entitled The Nightmare, and that is directed by Rodney Asher. Mm-hmm. It's available on Netflix. And what usually happens is when one is going to sleep, the vibration in the body, if you will, raises. And this vibration raising makes you vulnerable to the very first dimension beyond the third dimension, which is aptly named the fourth dimension, you see. And from entering into that state, that place, it's what the Buddhists call a bardo, or what Beetlejuice, the movie, called the Lost Souls Room. Mm-hmm. And that's where the ghosts are, and collective history of mankind and all of these other, collective consciousness. And then above that, we have the higher realms beyond duality, beyond friction, and beyond chaos, basically. So I was drifting upward, so to speak, or traveling. I call myself an astral astronaut through that bad neighborhood of the fourth dimension, up to where I could get healing so that I could come back down to earth in the morning and go to kindergarten.
How old were you when this started?
I remember it in the crib.
That's incredible. And this would happen every night. Now, now I'm learning something here. So let's enjoy this moment, because now I've got 1,000 questions. I assumed that most people would experience sleep paralysis as they woke up and they couldn't move. That was my experience. That's what happened to me, and that you would wake up in that state. But what you are saying is that you would start in that state in the third dimension and then move forward through.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Well, you see, the whole thing of sleep paralysis is an issue of getting stuck in a twilight zone of consciousness.
Right.
And then we can say maybe that stuckness is a part of spiritual warfare.
Now, did you get acclimated to this?
Never. I mean, it's like being in Vietnam every night. You never get used to it.
Now, okay. So when you sleep paralysis, you can't move. Okay, let's be clear on that. Or you think you can't move. Let's put it that way. That may be a better way to put it. So you were going through that phase. You didn't have control of yourself?
No. So at night I would lay down to go to sleep, and then I would feel a wave of exhaustion coming over me. That's how it would start, and I knew it was starting. And then I would start hearing noises and feeling a buzz in my body, like electricity.
Right.
And that is actually the soul, if you will, speeding up in velocity to be able to get beyond the body into the higher realms. Does that make sense?
Well, it's making sense. So if you were doing this in the crib and then throughout childhood, what did that, when your parents had to tell you, it's time for bed, was that all kids fight sleep, right? But and not want to go to bed at bedtime. But for you, that must have been a whole nother thing.
Yes, I wasn't really given the room to complain much, but my mother also had sleep paralysis, and she understood. So she was there for me. If I did, have a particularly bad evening, she would come to me and comfort me.
And okay, so how did this develop? Where did you take this now? Because this is could be considered a gift.
Right, like a symptom of a gift. So I do know, now that I'm a mature occultist, that I took a vow in one of my very first lives to always see, which means to always have my third eye open. And having one's third eye open, whether you are awake or asleep, you will be aware of what is happening to you.
Where did you go? What did you do at that age? I mean, during these sessions of sleep paralysis?
That is the most excellent question. So after the paralysis episode, I would not see where I went after that because it's too high vibrational, and it would have changed me as a person way too much. If I had seen heaven, so to speak, as a child that age, it wouldn't have developed me into the same person I am today.
What do you remember?
Just the boogeyman. And then I would sleep, I suppose.
And okay, now with the boogeyman, this is interesting. Was the boogeyman in your head, or was this something that was in your room?
Very good question. He was definitely in my room. I saw him approaching, but not only would his physical form approach, which looked like a 3D shadow of a man, just nude, if you would, but it's all black, so black that it's blacker than the night of my room. And as he came towards me, you not just me, but other people can feel these vibrations, these low, deep, dark vibrations that he brings in with him. And then many of us can start hearing people screaming, even people talking on the phone, like all kinds of chaos. And that's what clued me in, that I was hearing the collective of humankind.
And your eyes were open?
Good question. And when you ask a psychic if their eyes are open, it's very hard to tell, because we can see with our eyes closed. And I know there's people in the audience right now who have been going to sleep and realize their eyes are closed, but they can still see their room.
Right. But were yours open?
I feel like they were, yes. But believe me, I'm 43 now, and I was a little girl.
Right. Well, no, that's now. This is. You said that your mom was there for you.
Yes, very much.
So how did you talk to your mom about this? Do you remember telling her, that you couldn't move and there's somebody in your room, you don't know what's going on?
Yes, my mother and I were very, very bonded. When I first came into this world, I couldn't breathe, and I died a couple of times as a baby, and I was at the hospital for 3 months. Mm-hmm. That time period, my mom said she held me on her chest almost the whole time and willed me to live. So we had such a strong bond between us. And I know that that's what brought me through all of this darkness and this chaos, was partially her love for me and her dedication.
Well, what did she say when you started to talk to her about these?
That she understood that we were special. Sorry, that's what she said. She said we're different, and that we have feelings, that she had to socialize me, actually. I would hear what someone was actually saying and kind of say, oh, wow, you don't feel good today and you're having a hard time, when they were wearing a social mask and trying to say, oh, no, my life's great, girl. What are you talking about?
Right.
So my mother and I bonded on a lot of psychic insights that we both had together. But she had to socialize me not to talk about them.
What was going on around the house? Did she have a Ouija board? Do you remember anything? Was she into tarot?
Not at all.
What about...
She was a wonderful hairdresser, a very normal woman, a Capricorn.
She may have had an Edgar Cayce book collection she never told you about.
She did like astrology, and she did read our stars.
Right. Because,
and of course, I grew up with Art Bell. Are you kidding me?
Right. So, when did you start to research this? I'm sure you didn't do it when you were 5, but
no.
you have to go out there and start to get answers. What happened next?
So I guess I was a teenager before I started understanding this wasn't just me and my mother. This was happening to other people. And it was also a part of my spiritual journey, coming out of no longer being a Jehovah's Witness and saying, okay, God, what religion should I follow? How do I find you best? Where's that highest mountain?
Right.
And that's what led me into understanding what sleep paralysis was. And I'm sure it came through Carl Jung and reading about Jungian psychology that finally led me to The Terror That Comes in the Night by Hufford, which was an amazing, groundbreaking book on sleep paralysis. And I got to call my mom and be like, oh my gosh, Mom, sleep paralysis, it's a thing. We have a name for it. It's real. Maybe we should go to a doctor, because we'd both seen and experienced very deeply The Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger. And we were both very taken by that character, because to us that did represent the boogeyman that we were familiar with, and that dreams can be real and those kinds of really strange occurrences. And so from there, I was led. And then I got to tell her about it, and she understood. And we understood that it wasn't a doctor situation, that this was a spiritual situation.
So if you did that in your teens, so what you're suggesting is you did 10 years of sleep paralysis nearly every single night before you had the chance to go and find out really what was going on.
Oh, definitely. I had actually extinguished, if you will, or released the shadow man before I even found out the scientific reasons behind sleep paralysis. I was at one of my first psychic fairs as a young Wiccan, and a lady, I told her my story, and she says, you know what, you just put a pink bubble of love around that shadow, and you send him all the love you possibly can, and you tell him goodbye. And I did. When I got home, I did it, and I never saw him again, ever, not once. Now, but I did still have sleep paralysis.
We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, let me... Come on. There we go. When we come back, we're going to, I want to get into some definitions of Wiccan and covens and stuff like that, because you did all of this in your teenage years, and then we'll jump straight into Hermes and ride this evening out. Our guest tonight, Korinne Wilson. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. More with Korinne after this short break. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
I don't know what's going on. That's interesting. But, it's live radio. Sometimes I'm not in control of what is going on. Our guest tonight, Korinne Wilson. And, Korinne, yeah, our music, our commercials are playing out of order. I don't know what's going on. It's I just don't know what's going on. All right. Right before the break, you mentioned Wiccan. And you became a Wiccan at the age of 16, right?
That's correct, yes.
And what is a Wiccan?
So Wicca is a nature-based religion based on the seasons, so moving in harmony with the earth, in that way kind of Native American, right? And also like the sun and the moon. We also respect older pagan gods that came in earlier times, let's just put it that way.
Well, because I think a lot of those out there that don't know about these definitions or what's going on, they hear Wicca or Wiccan or a high priestess or a cult priestess or coven and things like this, and they go dark. They think that this is a dark thing.
Yes, they do, because they've been socially engineered to think so. That works for the Matrix, of course. But also there are literal dark witches out there, sure. And black magicians. I mean, we have all varieties, don't we?
And what is your coven?
I have a coven that I've had, for 15 years now, maybe. And it's called the Coven of the Illuminated Shadow. And now, pretty much, I don't live there anymore with all of my coven members, so we keep in touch over the phone. But really, we just support each other in our spirituality. I did teach them from a book called Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft, which is all about like Wicca 101 and your history. And it really stretches the mind to be able to intellectually understand a spiritual narrative and then to implement it into your life, which is all about good morals.
When did it, and through this period, I'm curious, when we talk about going back to sleep paralysis or astral planes and leaving your body, did this start to happen and were you in control of it?
When I was working psychically and working on, that's where I started the tarot. I didn't really work with my soul in that sense of Believe me, the last thing I wanted to do was open a door for more sleep paralysis. And I definitely would never let an entity enter my body as a trance channel. All of that kind of, what was that, the 1800s type of stuff was not calling to me personally. I didn't want to talk to dead people or automatic right either. So I was very choosy and picky in what I would try or experiment with. And I saw the tarot as a way not only to help myself spiritually, but hopefully, if I was talented, to help my brothers and sisters as an Aquarian.
Right, right. And this is what I find interesting about all of this is as you know, life's journey is just, well, it's a trip, right? It's a trip that you're on. And as you go through this, once one piece of knowledge and that door opens, then on the other side of that door is 100 other doors of knowledge. And you can start to, it's like a tree, right? And you can go in any direction, and there's an immense amount of learning that is involved. And it's a
fractal that keeps opening and opening and opening. But the point is that it's good to have a guide. And if the guide is your heart, that's wonderful. If you have a spiritual gift to hear higher ups, as I call them, then that is your guide. So you just have to find out where your guide is. And if you ask, you shall receive.
Did you open up a door ever? I'm sure you did. And you went, well, I'm not going there. That's the zone I don't want to go into.
Yes, anything dark or anything that reminded me of the shadow man, sleep paralysis, I was not about that at all.
And tell me, we also meet very interesting people along the way, too, as well. Some good, some not so good, some are great. But this world that we are in can have some pretty strange, people in it, too. And how did you start to become aware of that, those zones that you don't want to go into?
I suppose they were always around. I did, like I said, I tuned into Art Bell when I was little.
Right.
And so I was always aware that there was a metaphysical side to life, and I was part of that because I was living it. And I also understood, even as a Jehovah's Witness, there is good and there is bad.
Right.
And I was often called, like in school, my nickname was Elvira. So I was often seen as a witch, even as a little girl. The neighborhood kids called me a witch. And I'm like, well, kids know things. I didn't know personally what a witch was, and I probably had this societal view of a negative female. And I grew out of that. I learned and I educated myself.
And also those with talent, right? You get noticed. Did somebody try to pull you into the darkness?
No, I wouldn't say so. I was given opportunity to lead a community. I've owned 2 different occult stores, but I wouldn't say I was a businesswoman. I was there for community and to bring people together. And in the bigger cycle, just to help the awakening of humanity in general. But these were my early gigs, if you will. My first gig was as a tarot reader in a nightclub among my peers, which was a lot of fun. But I find that my life was orchestrated by higher powers, by higher architects, if you will, and I was walking in faith the whole time.
And Hermes, the whole Trismegistus side of things, is one of we've been studying that for a while here, Rita and I, and that's a part of our world history that. It's difficult to get the information. It's a hard, and especially to get to the real information out there. How did that start for you? It must have been an amazing moment, an amazing day.
Yes, it was more than one day. The first time I made conscious contact with Hermes was when my Reiki master, Tony, was taking us through a guided meditation. So you're actually hearing his voice and you're seeing in your mind's eye what he's saying. And he brought us to a point, and he said, this is where you will meet your spirit guide. And he told us to take 3 deep breaths and relax. And then he said, listen for the name. And out of the blue, like a stroke, like a bolt of lightning, came the name Hermes, like very high-pitched and exciting. I thought, oh my gosh, I know that person, that God, okay, so that's my spirit guide. But it wasn't until later, around my 30th birthday, when I really made full conscious contact, fully awake, no one there to help or to assist with Hermes. And those were my training wheels, so to speak. And we've been going really fine ever since.
Now, for the audience, and they've heard these terms before, maybe, but they may not know the entire history here. But Hermes is a combination of Hermes and Trismegistus and Thoth. And now we are talking about ancient history, prehistory, and how far back Thoth goes. Can you help the audience understand exactly what's going on?
I believe I can.
I mean, it's deep. It's a deep subject.
The issue is that history cannot inform us completely about this, and we have to come to a consensus on that. It is not written.
Well, that's exactly the point. You can't, if you try to research this, trying to get to the real stuff is difficult. And I think also, I would love your opinion on this. This is part of the mystery schools. This is part of hidden knowledge. You know, it's not out there to be accessed by everybody, is it?
No, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm 43 and just now on your show.
Well put.
There's a time for these mysteries, and the time, I believe, is now because I've had permission. So I would like to start not with Thoth, but with Hermes, if I may, so that we don't confuse anyone.
Okay.
Around my 30th birthday, I had what we call a kundalini awakening, which means that I was actually in a higher state of consciousness for days and days at a time. So I was living in the upper world, the one I only had visited before. Now it was taking over my life. And I was being introduced to my soul self, my true self, beyond time and space. So I was learning my soul's story through my spirit guide, Hermes, and through my higher self, or soul self. That's how we put that. Hermes began to, the first thing he did, this does start with Thoth. I must do this correctly. Thoth came to me a day in meditation, and he asked me, would you like to start the magical machine within you to become a co-creator with God? And when Thoth asks you a question, you say yes.
Right.
Thoth to me is very, very ancient, beyond time, and I respect him greatly as an elder. And so when he came to me, it was very heavy, and he had this fate wheel behind him. And I said, yes, I would. And then I find out later on through Hermes that he had awakened my kundalini, which is an inner vision sight beyond the earth realms into the soul realms, and some even can travel beyond heaven or beyond this universe itself. So through this transmission with my spirit guide, what happened was Hermes looked at me in my mind's eye. His eyes became pinwheels like a hypnotist. And I began to see more and more. And some people would, automatically assume I was put under a spell, but actually he was dispelling me. And I looked it up later because that's how I do this. I research after I have a vision to look for the truth. Mm-hmm. And then usually it's there. It is written. But I had to have the experience first before I would know where to look even, where to start.
Did you know who Thoth was at that time?
I did. Sure. Since I was Wiccan, I really resonated with Isis and all the Egyptian gods. And you could say that was my main pantheon.
What did he look like?
Thoth?
Was it him?
Yeah, Ibis. Yes, with the beak.
Yeah.
The rounded beak, everything. Yes, very in your face, very real.
Wow. Now, and how does, I can only imagine, because he, I think most people would recognize him because of the, just because of Egypt in general. We've seen images of the gods over the years as we have grown up, but he is probably the most important dude in the gods. And so, but how does he speak? I would be intimidated. I mean, that's a pretty big deal at that moment. But how does he speak to you? How did he introduce himself to you?
Well, I understood it was Thoth. I actually said his name in meditation before he appeared, so I was expecting that to happen. I actually have a video series about this on my YouTube channel.
Right.
So, what was the question?
Yeah, how does he speak? I mean, I am
through thought transference. Oh, you mean how does he sound?
Yeah.
It's not a sound, really. But I will tell you that there's a marked difference between his animation and the animation of Hermes. He's much slower. He's almost like stone himself.
Really?
Yes, it's because you and I on this earth plane are in a low vibration.
Right.
And Thoth's vibration is even higher than Hermes.
I'm just picturing it being just so huge.
Yeah.
Strong.
Well, you can ask him to come to you. You know that.
I'm not going to mess with Thoth. We'll do that off of the air. So now, okay, so back to this. So it was, I want to understand here, was it Thoth that came to you first through meditation, or was it Hermes?
So it had been Hermes. In fact, Hermes has been with me my entire life. He's my master teacher guide.
Right.
And he's been with me through all my lifetimes. So he's like a twin in that sense. And when we're no longer human, we are in a higher dimension together. But right now we're in a higher dimension together, even though I am human.
Now, so now with Trismegistus, which is a combination of the Greek god Hermes and Thoth. But help me understand here. Are you? They are separate for you?
They are indeed, because I see them as different soul ages. And as far as the Egyptian pantheon goes, our main god, so to speak, is Ra, the sun god.
Right.
But we also understand that there is a God beyond that God, and there's an all one. That's how I see it in my heart, that there's an all one God. And then there are many reflections of that through the lower dimensions. You see how that works?
I do. And now with Hermeticism, which is the combination of the both, but for you, when you started to read, how did you deal? Did you know? You understand what I'm saying here?
I do.
You understood that it was two different, gods that are coming to you, and Hermes is guiding you, but Trismegistus and Hermeticism are a combination of the two.
Well, you see, in Wicca, I was taught about the different pantheons of gods, and I was also taught about correspondences. So, traditionally speaking, the correspondence of Hermes in the Egyptian would be Anubis.
Right.
So it wouldn't even be Thoth.
Right.
And so we have our associations. But the thing is this is the trick, and this is what the joke that we'd like people to get, is that even if Thoth and Hermes are one, Hermes was an Egyptian, and he wrote as an Egyptian under the name of Hermes. Therefore, that was a separate incarnation, a separate personality. And as ancients who have had many lives, we respect each incarnation and each personality as an individual. So it's a sense of respect.
And why would the Greeks have merged the two?
This is what happened. This is the exciting part for me, is that we came in before time, obviously, before records, to set up light grids in the place we know as Egypt. And these light grids later on became what you see now as the temples and the statues. But before time, we came in as teachers to set up this light grid so that Gaia, the offspring, the humans that she would be giving birth to, would have teachers from the stars. And so that was our role. And Thoth was definitely there. And he was basically the one in charge from what I saw. and how I helped, which was I had to transmute from physical to non-physical to get what I like to call blueprints of light from the Akashic records and bring them here and understand that Egypt is like a mirror, as close as we could get, of Sirius. And eventually, that is the big mystery that unlocked everything for me, is that Hermes said, finally, he is Hermes of Sirius B, and that I'm also from Sirius B. That's how I got here, from Sirius B to Earth, and my original dwelling place was Andromeda.
Nancy just tweeted the question that I was getting ready to ask. So I'm going to ask it because that is called synchronicity.
Yes, it is.
She is saying, so is Thoth Hermes at a different vibrational incarnation?
I would say she is definitely onto something there. And as a teacher, I want her to keep digging.
Yeah, she runs circles around me. And so, okay, so why not keep the two separate? I'm speaking about the Greeks. Why not keep them separate?
Because we incarnated, obviously we did the Egypt thing, and then Hermes and I, as souls, graduated through the Egyptian line and were given the golden ticket, like about 12 tribes, the golden ticket to go create our own mystery schools. And that's when he and I am core Persephone reincarnated. Mm-hmm. We incarnated in Greece together to start our mystery schools. And many others had branched off and gone around the world to create their own mystery schools. And it was very exciting.
Did you, okay, so what can you tell me about the Great Pyramid? Can we remove some of that mystery there? Did Thoth build that?
Technically speaking, from a human, yes, you could say that. But the thing is that the temples, the pyramids, they are much more useful in meditation than they ever will be physically, you understand. This is a representation to remind us where to go. That's where we go to communicate. So when a 5-year-old child sees the Sphinx, even, there's a strange connection if you're a starseed, which means not originally of this planet.
Because, and there's such a mystery behind the Great Pyramid. We obviously we don't understand much.
But I would argue the mystery is not physical.
Well, I would argue that it is.
Well, see, we got two different levels going on here, and it's great.
only because it is such an imposing monument, right? It's huge. It was the biggest thing, tallest thing on Earth until the Eiffel Tower was built. You know, for thousands. To your
subconscious, it rips away all reality and says, "What's this weird thing?"
Right, right. And what do you know about this new chamber that was just found above the Grand Gallery?
You know, I looked at it, but these things aren't very interesting to me. I'm so sorry, Jimmy.
No, yeah, it was not supposed to be there. And now it is. We don't know what's inside of it, and that we haven't had that kind of excitement coming out of Egypt in quite a long time. It's been a while since something has been discovered because we have been told that there is nothing else to find. But
well, they got rid of the Hawass guy, and I think since then there's been a lot more opening.
What do you mean?
I don't know how to say his name exactly, but Hawass, the man who used to basically run the temple.
Zahi Hawass. We call him Meathead. You can just say Meathead.
That gentleman was escorted out, and from now on, we're going to have a lot more disclosure, as you like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So now, when you started to have this relationship and you now know that Hermes is your guide, what do you do with that? I mean, what's the first thing? Are you asking questions, or is the information coming at you first? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, talk about locking yourself in your room and being a real Hermes hermit.
Right. That's exactly it. I mean, where do you go first?
That's exactly what I did. Well, you see, I was only working one night a week, and I was able to afford my life in that one night. So all the rest of my time, I was exploring my new relationship with Hermes and what he was showing me and teaching me, but it was also awakening to parts of my soul and what a shaman would call soul retrieval, bringing myself all into alignment. So there was a lot of recovery work to do, healing from codependency and lack of self-love, and how to learn really how to love and parent yourself from that higher perspective. And that's really what was happening to me. I was blossoming as a person, but also I was going through great dark nights of the soul every other month. So it was a roller coaster, my friend.
Yeah. What I guess my question is a little bit more direct in that how do you approach it? Because you don't have anybody, well, you have Hermes to guide you, but you don't have anybody else. So how do you start to approach this? Where do you go first?
I went to my journal and I started writing down the conversations between Hermes and I. And then I would immediately go to the internet and look up what he told me and see if I could find it. And I always did. And then things started getting a lot more synchronistic because, he's like the dad of synchronicity, right?
Right. Well,
and so the radio started talking to me, Jimmy.
What did he give me an example of what you had to go and research?
When I started having issues of reality isn't real and kind of my brain was breaking, so to speak, when I was having trauma, he sent me to the website Exit the Matrix. And this is before so many other things were available. And Exit the Matrix and even the movie The Matrix, those Gnostic teachings, started changing my perspective into a wider point of view. And he said I was living in a box in my head. And he called me a boxy brain, and he wanted me to break out of that box and think outside the box and actually exist outside the box.
Brain
is logic, and if we get too logical about things, we're not really going to learn the infinite.
I've got so many questions right now, so let me get the first one out. So Hermes understands the internet.
Yes, very much so. In fact, I was there the day that I believe Carl Jung discovered the internet. He's like, that's the collective unconscious come to life for humanity. I was like, yeah, it's the internet. He was very, very impressed.
And so what does he understand about, if he understands the internet, how does he relate to things like the hive mind and collective consciousness? Is he relating all of that back to the internet, and is that how he understands it?
Well, you got to know, it was Hermes that red-pilled me in the first place. I had no idea about the real, so-called, so to speak, conspiracy theories, about the darker side of life and reality and what this world was about and about materialism. I was still pretty ignorant of those things, and it was Hermes who brought all of those things to light for me.
Unbelievable. Let's take a break right here. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight is Korinne Wilson. We're doing it all tonight. Yes, we are talking about Hermes, but we're going to go through the mystery schools. We've been talking about Psychopomps for the last couple of months. That's synchronicity right there. We're going to do all of this when we come back. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Humana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Korinne at Occult Priestess. Discussing Hermes, Thoth, Trismegistus, and this is where things are interesting for me. Korinne, were you able to get into some of the history that we are all trying to figure out? And I'm referring, all the way back to Thoth, Enki, Marduk, the Anunnaki, and the transition of all of the ancient history. Were you able to follow that?
Most definitely. Follow it, but not integrate it. So my red pill was full of all of that. Anunnaki, archons, what David Icke was talking about. Wow, what a show.
Yes.
I was enthralled. So those kinds of things are red pill. Even super soldiers going to Mars, that again is red pill to me. New information that I did not study in my own history. I was gravitating towards the past lives that I'd had and the cultures and societies I had been a part of. Therefore, everything that was Atlantis was lost on me. All of, my friends or whatever were talking about Atlantis. And I was like, you know what? I was never there. Sorry, kids. So I didn't get to bond on those levels and with the other cultures. I do know very much about the cultures I was involved with personally, but not so much outside my own scope.
And so Thoth, I'm trying to focus more on a linear situation about how the origins of everything. Thoth being first, correct?
Well, some would say yes, because Ra would be our god, even like on Sirius, so to speak. So as far as Earth is concerned, Thoth did a lot of the work, so to speak. He put in a lot of the beginnings of everything. And the rumor is that Thoth started Atlantis, but I was not there, so I can't speak on it.
And so then Marduk, Ra, Thoth, Marduk, Ra, then Enlil, Enki, and moving forward.
And then, Abraham and Moses, and then we get into David and all of that. So yes, there's a lineage. However, these, to me, are different soul groups. Therefore, they have different cultural tastes even beyond the stars. So let's say maybe some of them are from the Palladians. They would have a different culture they were coming from.
What do you think was gathered at that point in Alexandria, in the library, where all of these cultures are coming together, all the vast knowledge? And certainly you had Thoth and you had Hermes and these other the collection of knowledge that was gathered there. Do you think that they understood what they were pulling together? And man, don't you wish we had that knowledge today?
Occultists still cry probably once a week over the Library of Alexandria. But I do understand this from a larger perspective, and I think we should go there.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
I believe that Earth is a school for growing souls, and that Earth herself is also evolving and growing. And when we first came in before time, there was a very high vibration on Earth, or high states of consciousness. It was heaven on Earth. There is always a decision made, or a demarcation point, where we will fall in consciousness or fall to the flesh. And you could even see this as falling angels, if you like, if souls are angels. And so we fell into what we call density, which is a slower moving time period, more friction. Understand fiction and friction. We were going into duality. We were becoming more one with our flesh, needing to eat, needing to go potty, needing to bathe. So we were learning and teaching how to farm and take care of these earth bodies and earth lives. So understand that we came in on a very high vibration, high consciousness. If you broke your leg, you didn't really break your leg, no big deal, kind of spacewalking. And eventually over time, we fell into consciousness, which is what we've had for a very long time. Some would say the new demarcation point where we began rising back into higher states of flesh and consciousness was 2012. A lot of people point to that time, and that sits fine with me. And here we are in the beginning stages of raising consciousness back again to that heaven on earth level I like to speak on.
The Egyptians understood all of this, didn't they?
We sure did. We taught it.
And I like the way you say we, because it's not hard to go into this mindset, which is very simply today we have all of the distractions, certainly the last 400 or 500 years, with books, and now today we have distractions with life where we are pulled away from all of this information. We're not concerned with it. We're getting back to it, like you just said. But,
and in so many lives, people didn't have a spiritual calling. It was like a little book from the 1800s. You live this little play that is your life.
Right.
And that grows the soul, and that was great. But now we're at what I call graduation.
And the Egyptians, or all of those old cultures, didn't have those distractions that we have today. They were able to focus on the knowledge that was handed to them, focus on the self, focus on consciousness, and grow, because that's all that they had, and they were able to do that. They didn't have those distractions. We got away from it.
What I would say is they had different priorities, and they did not have something ruling over them, social engineering them to be specific ways so that the higher-ups could be in power. We were all one. We were all family. Sure, we had mother, father. We had that kind of hierarchy, if you will, but it was a hierarchy of love.
So you just nailed down a date of 2012, and certainly there were a lot of alignments that happened there. And it's December 21st, 2012 has been a date that we have all talked about. But certainly since 2012, whether one agrees with that date or not, there has been great changes since 2012.
Yes, and I believe it originates in the stars. And if you have a really good astrologer on your side, I do. Her name is AstroLunachick, astrolunachick.com. You can actually read the stars like it's a book, like it's the news, like you're getting an update from the ethers. It's amazing. So she's guided me through and shown me these portals, if you will, or alignments, and even this great eclipse we just had over America. Wow. So, everybody's getting buzzed, if you will, or dinged, and the alarm has been going off, Jimmy. But now everybody's kind of looking each other in the eyes and recognizing, yes, we all know the alarm's gone off and we're all in this together.
And when you are around somebody that isn't part of our community, right? That just isn't, that doesn't know. How do you explain this to them, and how do you try to introduce them so they understand what is happening?
Well, you know what, Jimmy? What I have in common with most of the people I'm around is conspiracy theory. So we go into, that's the thing going on over there. And so we agree basically on the view of the world, or what time it is basically right now. And I don't necessarily get into the deeper esoteric. I do say bless you, and may you have a blessed day, and just come from the heart with it. But I don't try to give them information that they'd probably rather not have.
Well, that's exactly why I asked, because this is what is so interesting for me, is that conspiracy and the whole red pill idea of us, our community. We were the strange ones. We are not now, right?
It's changing, and thank you, Trump. I mean, he is such a archetype, right? He said all bets are off. Everything's changed. You can't believe I'm president, so what else are you not going to believe, So I think it just gave us all a big sigh of relief in some way, on a subconscious level, that reality just isn't real anymore.
No, it's not. Conspiracy is the new normal. Right.
I love it. And, I've been warned. Hermes has told me our time will come where we will no longer be in the fringes. The hermits will come from the mountains, and we will be singing the praises again.
Did he really say that?
Of course. Yeah, I have a poem about it on my YouTube.
Now, and where do you think we are, not only today, but let's say this community 10 years from now? I mean, how far is this going to go?
Jimmy, I don't look that far in the future on purpose, because when I look too far, it gets all dreamlike and it's hard to describe. And I'm not really privy to that type of information, because I'm on this ride with y'all. You know what I mean? I want to be as surprised as you are. But I was told before 2017 that 2017 would be the year of revelation. Tuning back in like the radio days. And that would be the first level, really, of our transference. How do we say this? Psychic transmission between all of us, almost as if we can hear each other on a deeper level now, that we're becoming more psychic, that we're waking up in those ways where we can communicate with each other with more than just words, but with heart, and feel each other even through the radio waves. So I think that's very interesting. And a lot of people that have come here on a mission to be in the media, like those awesome YouTubers, they are reaching higher heights than ever and resonating with more people, because it is, so to speak, the common man that is waking up. The rulers, as we could say that, the elites, just aren't as hip as they used to be. And I think that we're kind of getting into each other more. And when I was born in the 70s, that was a great vibe. We were all about family and picnics and getting together. You know what I mean? That vibe. And it seems like we'd had in the 80s with Wall Street and just, gluttony, that vibe kind of died a bit, and it was becoming plastic. And I think we're getting back to the heart of family again.
How do we graduate?
Everyone graduates in their own way, obviously, but this is in my opinion, the last lifetime. So you've either pretty much done the work or you haven't, right?
Well, yeah, I would say that is true, but everybody's asking the same questions. How do we graduate? I have gotten so much email, Korinne, in a general sense. It says something like, you know what? If it doesn't happen, man, by 2017, I'm checking out of this community. I've been waiting and waiting. I want to know how to go from 3D to 5D. I want to know about this dimensional shift. I want that higher vibration. I want to see all of how do we do it? What is going, they want these answers. So
these are strong desires, Jimmy, but partially they're based on ego and lust of results. And when you are a student, then you're humble enough to allow the answers to come to you, because they're usually not going to hit you between the eye at first. You've got to really be open to the lessons. And the Western mind has difficulty with that, doesn't it?
Well, I have said, and you go to conferences, just like I do, and I have seen the negative years of conferences where there was just nothing but smack talk and backstabbing and just crazy, just rumors and soap opera. It's just like ufology turns, some kind of crazy soap opera. And last year, 2017, I'm speaking in the past tense and we're still in 2017, but I noticed the happiness at these conferences. The shift, I have noticed people walking around with their chins up and the glow of everybody, because they can see these things going on, not only in the media, but in our own community as well. So I do see the shift, and maybe that we are graduating and we don't even know it.
Well, some of us do, and a lot of people at those conferences know. I was at that conference, the Universal Life Expo, on my birthday last year for the very first time. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there again this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I can't believe it's only 2 months away. But yeah, I've seen this shift. And I think part of it is that this whole conspiracy is the new normal thing. We have been talking about red pills and conspiracy in our own community and trying to get the rest of the world to wake up to what we are talking about. And the world did, and it wasn't anything to do with us. The world did it to themselves.
Well, I think in a Hindu way that we're all characters in God's play, that God is the great choreographer or playwright. And when we say we've got to do this, we've got to do that to change the world, everybody's been given a mission. Every individual has been given a part and a mission. And some of those people will create groups, and that they will have a group mission, and that will change the earth. But I do hear the ego in this saying, oh my gosh, we have to change this now. If we don't do it, no one else will. And that is a lack of faith. But you'll see, I believe in our community, especially in 2018, the cream is going to rise to the top, and the teachings are going to get more intense, and people are going to be more invested than ever before.
You mentioned Sirius B. I don't want that to get away from us. Let's go back that was the term you used. We are from Sirius B, that you were from Sirius B. Let's go back and visit that for a second. How did that information come to you?
Okay, so Hermes, actually, when we got the good hookup, the psychic hookup between us, he began playing movies in my head. They were living, moving pictures, and he called it pranic projection. And I just got that today. I've never heard pranic projection before, so I still have to look that up. But I began having these living experiences in my mind's eye as if I was there, and he was showing me scenes and teachings. And after listening to someone like David Icke and, so many of the great guests that you have on your show, I got the realization that Isis in the ancient teaching said, literally to her son, we are from Sirius. And it hit me like, a bolt of lightning. And Hermes said, he's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Sirius B. And he gave me a song and dance to explain this, which is now a video, of course. And basically, it's something that we do as a family. He and I are now family. We're what you would call married. And he he says we're like a military family. We go into very difficult vibrations and we help raise the souls there. And that's basically our mission. If we were on some kind of Star Trek Voyager mission, that's our mission. That's what we do as a couple and as a family from Sirius. Now, I have met the oversoul, as we call it, of the Sirius star system, and I was guided to call her grandmother. And she is not really interested even in this play on Earth. She's like, well, that's great, kids. You just go ahead and do that, because to her, we're playing dolls. Mm-hmm. To her, this is very different. But Hermes is known as the Prince of Sirius B. And that grandmother, I believe, is his mom.
Did you say conical as in C? Conical projection?
Oh, pranic. P-R, like prana, the breath, P-R-A-N-A. He called it pranic projection is the living movies he puts in my head. That's a label he gave it today when I was taking notes.
Because I've heard of conical projection.
Really? Tell me about it.
Well, conical, it's just like that. It's a cone. And so,
like from the eye, from the iris?
No, imagine like an ice cream cone. And then you have a map of an area. It could be the Earth, spread out on the cone around it. And then you open up the cone, like unroll it. And then that's the conical projection.
I think he's giving you a partial visual of how to leave your body and go up into the cosmos and explore for yourself.
Pranical projection. Wow, that's very interesting, because I've never I can't find it, which is great. The reason,
well, understand prana means breath and life. Prana, so that's Hindu, and then projection, which we all know.
Yeah, I think it's great. In that, projection of. I'm going to research this.
Excellent.
Okay.
That's a great student. Thank you, Jimmy.
Well, see, only because it was told to you, but if I can't find any reference to it, that means this wasn't suggested powers of suggestion coming to you from 20 years ago, right? Where you heard the term. And you know what I mean? No, this is something else. This is something real.
Exactly. I live in my mind enough, like I'm extremely observant of my mind and my thoughts, that I know when to tag something from, that's from the past, and that's a word play. I know how to tag, label these things that happen to me. And I was told very sacred things that I've been given permission to tell, like how the Egyptians reincarnate. How am I remembering being an Egyptian? I mean, really, isn't that odd?
Yeah,
but then we go back to what was the point of canopic jars, which is where we put our organs into these jars that were shaped like godheads on them, on each one.
Right.
And they were sacred vessels, which actually you can see nowadays in voodoo. They still do that for a different purpose, but they still do it. So therefore, I have canopic jars in Egypt, and they are waking up through me because I'm reincarnated, you see, and my soul remembers. So these are essences. These are energies. I'm not going to animate a mummy ever, you see. I come back in consciousness, and that is a different, a deeper part of reincarnation.
How easy is it for you to have this communication?
It's not easy. In fact, it is when it is meant to be only, really. When Sirius is rising in the summer and the winter is when it's strongest, especially when I can get a hold of Grandma. Mm-hmm. But with Hermes, it's pretty much every day because, like I said earlier, he can speak to me through the radio. If there's a song I'm hearing with a hook, that hook will usually be a message.
And so you don't have to turn it on and turn it off. You can just go there if you need to.
Exactly. It's a flow.
You don't have to go into a meditative state.
If I really am blocking an answer, which I do from time to time, I'm a girl, I'm a human.
Right.
So if I'm blocking an answer, sometimes I will have to take myself down into a meditative state and just allow And that is a lot of my job, is getting myself out of the way.
And I'm not saying this in jest. I'm not trying to be funny here. But could you be shot? You're in a supermarket, right? And you grab the Captain Crunch, and it's going into the cart, and Hermes goes, "Put that back."
Oh, definitely, all the time.
Really?
But it's also my higher self, and she'll remind me, are you going to frustrate your hormones with this? Do you really want to feel that way?
Oh, John, we've got a couple of minutes before this next break. You want to take some phone calls, by the way?
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay.
I would love that.
All right, I'm just going to let everybody know we are going to use the 323-275-9695 tonight. We're not going to use the 323-825-5045. There's reasons for that. So we'll take phone calls after the break. 323-275-9695.
Vader knots rock.
Hey, they do. There's no doubt. Anyway, John just tweeted. He said, okay, I'm going to ask one more time. How did they build the pyramids? I just got to do it. Everybody
Through
wants to know.
light grids that eventually became physical. So it was like bringing it down from one level to another as it eventually became physical. But I did not physically watch that myself.
Say that again. Say that again.
It was a light grid. It began as a light grid, and then it descended, just like us, onto the earth plane. But then, that's all the coral castle with moving with vibration. We did that too.
Right. So how... Okay, it came down. Are you saying that the blocks came down?
I'm really not speaking physical. When I say light grid, I literally mean light grid.
I see the light grid. No, I see that part. I have no issues with that. They had to have a light grid to get that thing positioned where it is to true north, flat, level. There was a light grid. Today, this is what's interesting with that, Korinne. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
When a construction company needs to build a skyscraper or a house, and they have lasers, they are laying out a light grid to put all of this stuff into place. And that's, I'm not suggesting that.
All right, Jimmy. Wow.
Well, it only makes sense. They had to be able to do it somehow. I'll tell you how they didn't do it. They didn't do it with skins and wood and sticks, right?
Or slaves.
That's not how it happened. They had to have some kind of technology there, and light grid being projected down from above makes absolute perfect sense to me. All right, let's take a break. We've got phone calls coming in, so let me do this here. I'm going to start putting calls on hold. And there you go. Okay, so if you are on hold, stay right there. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll take some of your phone calls. Our guest tonight is Korinne Wilson, the occult priestess. Now, her website is occultpriestess.com. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can also follow her on Twitter at occult priestess. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on jimmychurchradio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com. Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Korinne Wilson. Going to take some phone calls here. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. You can follow Korinne at Occult Priestess. All right, Korinne, you ready to take some phone calls?
Yes, I'm ready to hear from some Fade or Not. That's
yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Deb from Sacramento.
Hi, Deb from Sacramento. Say hi to Korinne.
Hi, Korinne.
Hi, Deb.
Hey, Korinne, I'm wondering, I'm not familiar with everything that you do. This is the first time I've heard you on Jimmy's show, so I'm definitely going to go and watch one of your videos. But I'm wondering, would it be possible for you to lead all the Fadernauts that are listening right now in maybe a verbal meditation prayer to focus rain on these fires?
Interesting. That's a collective that... Okay, yeah, I can do that, sweetheart. Okay. You ready, everybody? Okay. You ready? I'd like everyone to please just close their eyes for a minute. And I want you to put your hand on your heart. And I want you to imagine fire, just fire, no emotional feelings, just fire. It's fine. It's the element of fire. This is nature. And then we think of California as a state. And we ask, may we please have some peace from these fires? May we please have peace from destruction? And may we please quickly learn all the lessons from these fires so that they cease and desist. And please empower our superheroes that are right now at this moment fighting the flames. For the good of all and the harm of none, so be it.
Wow. What about rain? You left that out of the prayer.
Because I'm not God. God will do whatever God wants. You know what I mean? If it's rain, it's rain.
Thank you, Korinne.
Yeah, very
Thank you,
cool.
Deborah. That's beautiful.
Thank you, Deb. Have a great night.
You too, Jimmy.
Yeah, how cool is that? Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Fader Knots rock.
That you would use her phone call for that it just got my heart singing, really. It's beautiful.
I did it. 323-275-9695. 323-275-9695. I did it, and I'm imagining that this audience was all doing that at the same time. And how cool would it be if we saw a turn? This is,
I believe in fate or not. So you already saw a turn for yourself.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about it. And the pressure, the emotion, the darkness that is all-encompassing right now in Southern California, it is an intense thing. And we all feel it, the stress. Watching the talking heads on the 24/7 live news coverage that we've been getting here, the uppity, happity, talking heads that we have here in Southern California weren't all uppity and happy, this last couple of days.
They're looking quite haggard, in fact.
They are looking very haggard, very, very haggard.
Almost as if masks are coming off, Jimmy.
Well, that's part of it. That's part of it.
Look at you. Look at how this is showing you as a trooper, even though you might say, no, don't look at that. But we are looking at that. We're looking at your heroics, Rita's heroics, and we're understanding and we're learning from it.
Yeah. It's funny. When Rita and I go at each other, little trigger words, we are stressed. We're tired. We're stressed. We have, this is my point. I want everybody to understand. I am not crying. I'm not looking for a sympathy or an aw Jimmy and aw Rita. Everybody needs to understand. We woke up Tuesday morning, walked out in front of our house to see flames and smoke and ashes and things in the air and these warnings and get out and evacuations. And we're running around trying to figure things out. And it's been like that ever since. It is not a fun thing to go through. I don't know what's going to happen overnight tonight. I don't know what I'm going to wake up to tomorrow. And it is stressful completely. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Bruce from Austin.
Hey, Bruce. Say hi to Korinne. What do you have for Korinne tonight?
Hi, Korinne.
Hi, Bruce. Hey, Austin.
I listened to the introduction for you, and Jimmy mentioned 12-step.
Yes, sir. In
recovery. I am also a recovering alcoholic. We just celebrated 7 years. November 2nd, 2010 is my sobriety date.
Thank you.
And over the last 6 months, things have just gone crazy for me. Because of health issues, I started waking up a couple of years ago. And over the last 6 months, it has just gone to an insane rate.
You're waking up, you're saying? You're realizing more and more? Yeah, tell us about that.
Information overload. And I've talked to Jimmy and them a couple of times about some things that have happened several years back. And all of a sudden, everything's falling into place. I mean, how do I deal with all this? This is not me.
Well, as a 12-stepper, I know that you and I have already gone crazy. We understand what crazy is. You know? Yeah. And we have seen that crazy is in our world. But now we're starting to see some rays of sunshine, I believe, to show us, again, like I said, reality isn't real. We've been putting all this faith into physicality, into materialism. And you have had a spiritual awakening through the 12 steps.
Well, that's exactly it. I have never had so little and been so happy in all my life.
I agree with you 100%. I myself live like a nun. There's not a lot of money around here, and it makes me feel sometimes even better.
I just moved into a tiny house, and this was a godsend thing. I was forced to move from the house that we were in. It just worked out that we all three had to go separate ways, and amicable, but nonetheless, it left me in a bad position, and God stuck me right here in this tiny house at a very affordable rate, and I could not be any happier. I've never been this happy in my life.
I'm 100% with you, brother. Really, I understand the simple life. It takes away all the pressures, doesn't it?
It does.
A lot of the pressure.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
Take care and have a great, fun weekend there in Austin.
Yeah, right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You deal with all this and try to take care of it. This is it's crazy. It's crazy in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely,
and
Bruce.
the blessings, yeah.
Thank you so much for the phone call, Bruce. And let's just stay on the phones here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Christopher Fisher from Allentown, PA.
Hey, Chris Fisher from Allentown, PA. Say hi to Korinne.
Hello, Korinne.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Not bad. Nice to meet you on chat, by the way.
Excellent. I thought that was you.
I'm missing out on something, but okay. So
I love your chat room, Jimmy. I'm addicted.
Oh, the chat room is crazy. Oh yeah, I see you here. Okay, all right, Chris, what's on your mind tonight?
I just wanted to share my experiences. The experiences you shared, Korinne, sound so much like mine.
Oh, thank you. Please do.
I was born premature, and I was in the hospital for until I was 18 months old. And I remember the experiences I had in there, even at the time right at birth.
That's right. Go ahead.
Continue, Chris. Remember, this is live radio, man, so you got to keep talking.
Okay. The pre-birth was like I was seeing a light that faded away
right
in the darkness, but I saw another light, and it was in the delivery or operating room, whatever they have at the time, back in 1970. And the walls were green green tiles with metal equipment and stuff, and to my right there was a door to a hallway, which was yellowish brick with brownish grout in between the bricks. Institutional brick.
And you remember you remember everything.
Yes. And the blanket I had in the hospital was green. And it was white material like they normally do in hospitals or nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris and I were between life and death. That's what we're seeing here. That's why he could see outside of his body as well. We were between. We were in that twilight zone.
Yeah. They said I had trouble breathing and had a lot of birth issues.
Yeah, me too. Asthma. Finally, it developed into asthma, and then I got healthier as I grew. But yeah, it sounds like it. I also thought of it like a shamanic death, only at a very early age. So it's an intense lesson, Chris.
Chris, what about the sleep paralysis that Korinne was telling us about? Did you have that as well?
Yes, it felt like electricity, and sometimes when I wake up from a horrendous dream or like an astral trip, I felt like I was rocking back and forth like in an ocean.
Yes, and we also call that like astral whiplash. When you come back too fast, you get slammed back into your body. It can also cause headaches.
It made me scream like a little schoolgirl sometimes because it frightened me.
There is nothing scarier in an experience. It really does turn your hair white.
Yeah, it scared me. But, this is, and Chris, thank you for the phone. Did you have a question for Korinne?
Yeah, Korinne, I was curious. I I didn't get totally better. I still have like cerebral palsy, and some people do. Like, why is it that sometimes some people that have these experiences sometimes don't always get better, and some improve completely? Is that supposed to be part of a life lesson?
I would assume, just as you said, it is a life lesson, and I'm physically not 100% sound. My nervous system has been through the mill, and I now have 2 slip discs in my lowest part of my spine, which also wreaks havoc with the nervous system. So I just have faith that one day I will get better, even if it's when I leave my body. But for now, I believe the pain kind of grounds me and keeps me playing this game. You know what I mean? And you are a gifted man, and you might need something to keep you here as well.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, I have.
Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
How did you find Fade to Black?
Through my friends like Catalina and
she's in the chat.
Like Josh and Karen and others that I've known previously. I've been on other radio stations.
So cool to have you here visiting with us. And have you ever met Catalina? Because I have.
Only on chat. She's awesome.
Oh, she's awesome. So I have this really, obviously everybody knows about my fixation with coffee and Fade to Black blend and River Moon and stuff, but I love chocolate, right? So this is maybe, I'm going to say 2-3 years ago. And I'm speaking at a conference, and we go in the first night of the conference. I'm just going to share this story with you because it's awesome, and I know she's listening right now, and she's going, Jimmy, don't, but I'm going to. So a part of this hotel that we were staying at, there's a bar, right, a lounge. So we walk in. I walk in, and I'm with. I'm trying to think. I know it was Stanton Friedman, Rita, Micah Hanks, and I want to say Mike Barra. So it's like the 5 of us. We're all together, and we walk into this bar, and I sit down at this table, and I'm loud. You know, I'm being Jimmy. All right, I'm ordering drinks for everybody in the bar. You know, that kind of thing. And I turned to, I don't know, it's Catalina, right? And I turn, I'm like, and so who are you? Or something like that. She goes, Jimmy, it's me, Catalina. I was like, get out, right? In this bar. What were the odds, right? And we're sitting next to each other. And she goes, by the way, I brought a gift for you. And she whips out like this 5-pound dark chocolate bar. 5 pounds of chocolate.
What an angel.
Yeah, and hands it to me, and we have been friends ever since. And her and I that night, we had and Rita and the table, but Catalina was a whole lot of fun. And so there you go. Catalina, I just threw you under the bus, but it was the most awesome. You know, it was like 80% cacao dark chocolate, and it was like this 5-pound bar. She is the best. So hang out.
I want to tell you, Jimmy, how I found you, too.
How'd you find me?
I found you through our good friend Freeman Fly at freemantv.com.
How is Freeman these days? I haven't talked to him for a couple of months.
Well, you know, he just moved into a new house. He's going through the whole gamut, man.
He is one of the coolest dudes ever. And, I mean, I talked to him. I think I was on his show.
Well, he's listening right now, if you'd like to tell him something.
Yeah, Freeman. Shave Freeman. That's what I'm going to tell him. And, I was on his show a couple of months ago, and he said he was going to go and discover things. And when that tells this is, I know he's laughing. When I picture him on that journey, I picture him with like a wooden staff, a backpack, and he's hitchhiking. Right? And that's it, man. He's going
the hitchhiking Merlin.
He's going to go out there and find the real knowledge, which, and I did this years ago with Freeman. I watched all of his videos of him going around the country, and they were some of the coolest things ever. And I got this Freeman addiction on. And one day, I don't know if it was email or if I somehow got his phone number, but I called him up, and I was like, man, you know, and we have had that connection ever since. He's one of the coolest people out there, period. Seriously smart guy, too, as well. Freeman, send me the email right now and go, oh, shucks. But that's how, you know, I just picture him. He's like, yeah, Merlin, right? He's like Gandalf.
He's also the Green Lantern, too. I see him as that.
Little Green Lantern thrown in. But, yeah, he's like Gandalf of all colors, you know, out there getting it done. Hey, Chris, thank you for calling in, my friend, and don't be a stranger.
You're welcome. It's the first time I met you. I'm going to hit you up on social. I'm going to add you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's hang out.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys. Added you as well, Korinne.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Have a great night, Chris.
Have a great night, guys.
Yeah, don't be a stranger.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, I won't be.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Great.
Be a weirdo, but don't be a stranger.
Yeah, never be a stranger. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Dylan from Delaware.
Billy?
I knew it was you. You're making me be psychic on air. That is my son.
Is it? No. Don't,
it sure is.
Don't mess with the host here, okay?
This is my beautiful son, yes.
Is this really your son?
Yes.
It sure is.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
First time listener, first time caller.
Really? Billy. How old are you, Billy?
Dylan.
Oh, Dylan.
Oh, Dylan. I thought he said Billy.
As in Bob Dylan, you know.
Dylan. How old are you?
I just turned 18 in July.
You just turned 18. And Korinne is your mom?
Yes.
Is she cool?
Oh, sure. Of course she is.
Yes.
You already know that.
You know, see,
got
this.
Her on the show.
Hey, Dylan, listen to me. My mom was a lot like Korinne, and my mom was the coolest. And I grew up with all of the things going on that we talk about on this show. My mom was into all of that when I was very, very young. You know, Edgar Casey, Eric Von Dam. I'm talking about 1970. Ouija boards, ghost writing. My mom did all of that stuff. And so I'm 5 years old watching this stuff go down, and I'm like, I thought that was normal. Right? I thought that was the world. I thought that, you know, my dad is a musician. I didn't understand you know, banks or insurance companies or whatever other, you know, kids' dads and moms did out there for jobs. I thought this was the real world. So that's what you grew up with, man. And so really cool. Really cool. So
well, partially. Yeah. Like your dad, my dad was a musician too.
Right.
So I haven't taken as much under my mom's wing as I think I have as my dad in terms of a lifestyle standpoint, but I am interested in this stuff.
Well,
I always thought children were spiritually cool already, and they didn't need to know or, you know, have it shoved down their throat, basically.
Well, my daughters, Rita and I, you know, we have two daughters, Nicole and Deanna, and the two of them, you know, as far as awakening or consciousness or ufology or life after death, any of the subjects that we talk about here, that, you know, no, they don't talk to me about it if they're into it. It's not like they come to me and say, you know, hey, man, we saw a black triangle last night. It was really cool. No, that stuff doesn't go down. But last weekend, Deanna did. I told this on the air. She walked outside and said, it's 11:11. I've been seeing this all day. I was like, what? Yeah. So there you go. So, Dylan, you called in. I would love to hear from you. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to ask my mom a question.
Yes,
I thought it'd be.
I love it.
So you talked about how Hermes is like your guide, which I already knew. But you talked about how he was talking to you about the internet and you just figured out about it. And I was wondering if he told you anything about me, like before I was born, or you know, as I was being born, or anything like that. I was just wondering.
Ooh, you've never. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Are you saying that you've never asked your mom about this before?
Not really. No, we when we talk about spiritual stuff, it's really more about dreams.
Okay, all right. Because this is going down on the show. I'm digging this. So, Korinne, your answer.
You might.
Yeah, right. Korinne, your answer is
Well, I did have a vision, or I heard a voice that told me that I would have a child, and I wanted to name him Darius, actually. But that name was shot down, and we ended up with Dylan, the Welsh god of the sea, because my son Dylan is a Cancer, which rules the oceans and the sea, much like Freeman Fly. However, that was before I got conscious contact with Hermes. I was around 28 years old when I gave birth to my beautiful son. And I was guided, of course, but I was also kept partially in mystery. But I knew the child I was giving birth to, he felt like a whale in my womb. Like I felt like 10 buildings of a woman. And I knew that I was giving birth to what I call a big fish or an old soul.
Dylan, do you, those words, old soul, do you feel that, or have you been told that, not from your mom, but from others?
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Definitely.
And so you're a musician?
In some ways, yeah. I mean, I'm not popular, but, I'm in my roots.
What do you play?
What's your SoundCloud, kid?
I don't have a SoundCloud. I'm more of an electronic type musician. I make, I guess you could call it house. I don't know. I do have a Spotify, but I stick to Bandcamp, which is a free website.
Yeah. Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And
he also loves wrestling and skateboarding.
Okay, that's cool. Now I want to get back to this music thing. Hold on a minute now. So do you do everything in software, or do you have keyboards? Do you have a nice antique MPC 3000? Are you sampling?
No, it's all software.
It's all software.
But, yeah, the messages that I guess it's from a conspiracy standpoint kind of thing. I started off, and I continue this. My message, my music normally doesn't have any lyrics, but when I do use vocal samples from interviews from people that I look up to, it's a lot of it is about fame and how that whole system works. And I am a believer of the whole conspiracy with fame and stuff like that.
Dylan, why don't you send? Are you on Twitter?
Yeah.
Well,
I guess I have a Twitter.
Okay. Well, I'm asking you for links. We'll put all of this stuff up. Can we hear it?
My music?
Yes.
Yeah, share your stuff, kid.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'll make you.
Hold on. I forgot what my Twitter was, so let me check what it is right quick.
Well, I'll make you famous, Dylan, but you got to work with me here. Hey, Dylan.
I haven't.
Oh, Dylan.
Yeah.
This is live radio.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I need to take a break. Dylan, you stay right there. You figure out your Twitter. I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, then we'll get all of these links up. All right? So stay right there.
Okay.
Okay, Dylan's cool. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight is Korinne Wilson, and we have her son on the line. We'll take a break right here. And we'll do a little overtime with Korinne. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Listen to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Korinne Wilson. Absolutely fantastic conversation tonight. And before the break, blindsided me. Korinne's son, Dylan, called in. And Dylan, you still there?
I sure am.
Okay, Dylan, what's your Twitter?
So my Twitter, because I'm from Cincinnati, it's Queen City Kid.
Okay.
2K.
Okay, hold on.
2K
Twin City Kid.
Queen.
What?
Queen.
Queen City.
Yeah.
Okay, Queen City Kid. Okay, it's not popping up. Why? I'm not.
There's a 2K afterwards.
Oh, Twin City Kid 2K. Genesis Nemesis? That's you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
Check you out. Okay. Everybody follow.
Thank you. I don't use Twitter that often, as you probably know, because I
But
didn't
this
even know what my handle was.
Okay, this is what I want you to do, Dylan. I'm putting this out there, but now you have to reply back and give us the link to your music, okay?
All right.
Okay, and thank you for this. I want to go and listen to it, and maybe I'll throw some of it up on the air next week. But thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Have a great night, Dylan. Say bye to your mom.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, sweetheart. Thanks for calling.
How cool is thank you, Dylan. My daughters have never called into this show. I get a text from them once in a while. but that's it. Okay, now this is, I was just down the hall in Rita's studio, and she said, okay, now this is what I want. I want Korinne to flip over a couple of cards for us. One for you and one for me. So let's do, I want to have fun. Let's do Rita first.
All right, you're going to have to give me a minute, Jimmy.
Why is that?
My cards. I'm shuffling my cards, and I am
Now,
envisioning.
do you have different decks for different things?
I have decks that I grab in a mood, so it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in, like what kind of art I would like to look at.
Right.
And you know what? I do want to bring up that Rita is just such a snappy dresser. That woman has such class. It's really, I think, what attracted me to her at first. I didn't know she was your wife. I was like, who is that well-dressed woman?
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that happening. Definitely. Yeah, she likes. See, the thing is, you know what? I'm going to let that go. She really, that's kind of a personal thing, what I was about to say, but she really, really consciously selects her clothes. You know,
one artist can tell another artist.
And
your wife is a soul artist. She is living the art through her flesh.
Yeah, me, I just need a pair of Levi's, and any shirt will do.
She makes you look good, Jimmy. She's your dance partner.
She does. I'm the exact opposite of her when it comes to dressing. That's for sure.
So for Rita, the card that she has been getting, you know, the kind of phase she has been in is temperance, which is also known as alchemy, which is many different aspects of her life starting to flow together to give her a big picture view. And that's where she's been. But that's not where she's going. Right now, she has the Three of Pentacles, which is pentacles are earth, which speak of money and jobs and these kinds of material things. The Three of Pentacles speaks of mastery. She's not an apprentice and she's not a manager. She's becoming the master. And I believe in these spiritual times that takes on a lot more than just a material point of view, as if more of a leader role position. And then the next card, the last card, is the Magician. And you really can't get better than that. That's having all the resources you need at your disposal and the empowerment from within and above to get the job done. So I see some good things coming for Miss Rita.
See, man, I can't ask the questions. It's on her. But that seems very positive. Do you? What if you flipped over some negative stuff? Do you reveal that, or do you?
Of course I do. Why hide from the negative? I always dance with the shadow, Jimmy.
Right. I'm looking at pictures. Is that so? Dylan, long hair.
That's right.
I'm looking at him here.
He is his father's son. He looks like me physically, but his dad is such a cool guy. He's like a partial beat poet and partial alien. I mean, he's just an amazing person.
Yeah, Dylan looks cool. Yeah, he's a cool kid.
He's got really weird parents.
He looks really, really cool. I'm on his page now. All right, I guess I'll do it. I normally shy away from this kind of stuff live on the air. I'm always a little embarrassed by it.
I'm not going to hurt you, Jimmy.
Okay, let's go. Flip it. What do you got?
What you're learning about right now is amazing, and it is spiritual. So this isn't going to come down to mundane brass tacks as much as it did with Rita. You're learning something from a higher realm, if you will. You're learning about the masculine and feminine within you as a person. And that's alchemy too. So you and Rita are both on what we would call the alchemical path of eventually having a light body and being able to travel in what we call light body Merkaba ships, which are not physical, clunky metal spaceships, but the spaceship of our consciousness. So I believe that if, about 6 months from now, you and Rita start meditating together, you will be able to take what we know as a common journey. But at this point, you are still addressing the king and queen from within.
Wow, she's tripping right now. I can't even believe. I know she's tripping. Okay, and I mean that in a real sense, not in a drug sense. I mean this in a real sense. The words that you just selected and that you just said, I'm not going to say this on the air. This is private, but she just heard what I just heard. That's a pretty fascinating statement that you just made. That's pretty trip. Rita, hit me right now. Come on, text me. She's in there going, no, Korinne didn't just say that. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Come on, Ree. What are your comments? I know she's flipping out. Korinne, we are on such an education path. Okay, so we are every single day, all night, we are doing nothing but learning, reading, sponges, questioning. We have she just said your Merkaba spaceship is in my parking spot.
And your karma ran over my dog,
Yeah,
Rita.
right. And so we are, we've always done this.
It's just a delight. I have to say that. I love that woman.
We, for the last 20 years, her and I have had the longest conversations, reading, documentaries, just constantly in these deep conversations, very deep. And this is so this isn't like something that has been going on for the last couple of weeks. This has been going on for 20 years. And certainly the last 5 years where we have developed friendships and relationships with some very bright, smart people out there. So our circle of friends that we gather with, the quest for knowledge, like we were talking about earlier, it just continues. One door opens up another 20, and out of those 20, each one is opening up another 100. And
this is your progression. And look
it's
at where
insane.
you've been, and look at where you are. Oh my gosh.
It's insane.
Amazing.
It's just absolutely insane where we are at now. So that being said, just last night, she asked me a couple of questions last night about certain things. And you literally, I'm not going to say what it is, but you literally said a couple of those words a few minutes ago. And it was just like, this is just part of our journey together. But
now, what's really going to bake your noodle is it Hermes that was listening to you guys last night? Was he there with you?
Well, you know what?
Whisper in my ear?
Well, I'll tell you something else that, we've talked about Hermes all night tonight. Hermes and, okay, about a year ago, we really started to get into the demigods and the gods and the real ancient, the prehistory of history and going back. And when you start to go into those zones, you are in a part of history that hasn't been written. You're in an oral tradition here and the mystery schools and everything else. But, and that opens up because the Egyptians, documented some of this, right? And so when you get into Ra or any of the or Thoth, for instance, and you start to get into those gods, they definitely documented it the best that they could in that timeline, and it goes back, tens and tens and tens of thousands of years.
And so much was destroyed in the Alexandrian library. And for those still crying over it, I want you to know that I was told the library was burned, but it lives in the astral. It is open for you in meditation.
Well, and I think yes. The answer is yes. But the other part is we are, and I don't know when it's going to happen or where, what part of Egypt, but something is going to crack in the physical. In other words, somebody's going to open up a door. There's going to be some kind of tomb. There's going to be something underground. There's going to be a cave. There's going to be something. They're going to open up the door, and then boom, there is going to be something there that we have never seen before, explaining things. It may not be everything, but I know that they've hidden stuff for us to discover in the future. And
most definitely. And also, the biggest disclosure, Jimmy, disclosure comes from within. And you can get that today. You can get that tonight. You don't have to wait for your government to show you things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've said it so many times. I don't need disclosure.
But for those who do need physical proof, it's coming, baby. It is coming. But for you and I, it shouldn't surprise us as much.
Well, Korinne, this is the truth. Even those out there that are demanding this physical stuff, right? Whether it's documents or videos or ET to come in, it's not going to be good enough for them.
Well, that is the defensive mind. It's more being in the ego and of logic only. And that's really a trap that people get stuck in.
Right. Well, and the other part is this. Let's say that a spaceship comes down, a nice Starfleet commander thing, lands right down by you in Los Angeles, right? And it's there. And the skeptical of the skeptics steps up and goes, okay, all right, but this could still be a hologram. You know what I mean? It's
right, and they're turning the whole universe into a hologram, saying everything is fake. And I'm like, come on, guys, Buddha said that during Buddha's lifetime. I mean, come on. We know that this is fake, so to speak. But you know what? When I hurt myself, I don't feel like I'm in a matrix. I'm bleeding. This is real. Or when I look at a sunset, or when I'm at the beach, nature is real. And I think that we should get back to that because we're kind of unplugged from it. And that's what's having people believe that they're only in this synthetic matrix. They're not giving homage to the earth.
No, it's so true. And we've had so many cool things happen over the last couple of years when it comes to awakening and ufology and so forth. And even with all of these cool things that are happening, exoplanets and fast radio bursts and Tom DeLonge
solar
and his
flares.
thing, right? Everybody. Well, you know what, man? Screw that guy or forget about that. We want more. This is. They want to be negative. When we are on the edge of some really, really fun, crazy things right now. Let's grab one more.
We won't let the lunatic fringe kill the laughter.
No, and it doesn't matter to me. If you're negative, I don't have time for you. Let's grab one more phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. This is Catalina, and thanks for the shout out.
Oh, how are you?
I'm doing good. And hi, Korinne. I told you I'd call.
Thank you so much. It's fun having you in the chat.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Thank you for all your information. It's been really fun and interesting. I had a question about, I'm always fascinated about Galactic Federation, Star Brothers and Sisters. So I was wondering if Hermes ever said anything to you about the Galactic Federation.
Now, I have been following the Galactic Federation of Light, and I've gotten a transmission. The correct word or term to call myself, believe it or not, is Illuminati, which means illuminated. And it has nothing to do with darkness or the New World Order or anything, because as we know, darkness cannot create. It cannot create something of its own. So it takes what is always already created and inverts it. So we have, the Illuminati of Hollywood with Jay-Z and all that, and mind control, which goes back so far in our history, even with the beginning of psychology and how that was brought into the frame. So, gosh, you opened up a whole can of worms there, honey.
So
I'm kind of curious about the first contact thing. I mean, I follow the Galactic Federation, but, I really get excited about the first contact, meeting or greeting our Star Brothers and Sisters.
I agree. And I think first contact is in your heart. For real. And I do believe that our star family does reach out to us if we've got our ears open to that frequency, which is just, please come to me. It's actually giving them permission to come forth and so that you agree that you will not freak out, basically, and they will not break your mind or send you to the mental ward. You've got to kind of be stable and ready for this kind of contact, even though it's emotional and loving. The Galactic Federation seems to be on a mission, and they are waking up other starseeds, but they are not a part of my crew, if you will. Although I respect them and I watch what they do, we're not on that particular level, honey.
So Sirius B is not a part of the Galactic Federation?
I want you to know that there are many levels or layers of density of Sirius B, which means I might not know all my neighbors.
There you go. Catalina, thank you so much for calling in. And, our little time together was a private, personal thing. And I hope you don't mind that I, discussed.
That absolutely was an enlightenment for me, too, and I loved it. So have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for the call.
And thank you for the 5 pounds of dark chocolate.
I got one right now. I love it. All right, take care.
Talk to you. Thank you so much, Catalina. And I'm gonna do something here and see if I can pull this off. But what a great conversation tonight. And
I can't wait for the big party on my birthday again at Conscious Life Expo.
Man. Now, it's February 9th through the 12th. What day is your birthday?
The 11th of February. And last year it was on Saturday.
Right. Oh, come on. Hold on a minute here.
Just a little mercurial blues to get you through the night.
Yeah, no, I'm messing with somebody, and he's messing with me back. And I'm just trying to pull this off, and it just doesn't seem like. I'm trying to call Freeman.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah, and I know he knows it. I know he can see it, and he's not picking up. See, this is the thing.
He said that his phone was dying. Actually, he was texting me.
I'm calling him on an alternative line.
The secret bat phone. He'll
Freeman,
get that.
Come on, man. Quit messing with me. I can see it's going to voicemail. Oh, wait.
Please leave a message.
See? It's his voicemail. Man. All right, Freeman. I tried to call you, man, at the end of the show. I thought it would be nice and fun. And, he's not, I can see he's active. Okay, well, enough of that. All right, now where can everybody get a hold of you, and is it easy? Just over at occultpriestess.com?
Yeah, that's where you can get my email. I check my email, every few hours like everybody else. I do ask that people familiarize themselves with my work through YouTube as Occult Priestess. And I'm also available on Facebook as a real person, as a real friend.
Absolutely. And you will be at the Conscious Life Expo. You're going to be there for all 4 days?
With bells on. It's like that's the party of the century. I am really looking forward to it.
I want to thank you for coming on tonight, Korinne, and thank you for adjusting your schedule to come in. It's so difficult to reschedule and do those kind of things, but just thank you so much. And through these trying times that we're dealing with here in Los Angeles and Southern California, just keep moving forward and roll that rock uphill for us.
Well, Jimmy, I said I moved here for the apocalypse. I've been here for a year and a half, and I'm ready to roll.
Man, I'm telling you, I feel like I hear 4 horses up the street right now. It's
That's
crazy.
Exactly right.
It's crazy, but we're going to be fine.
We're in this together, babe. We got each other.
Well, and that's exactly the point. And I want everybody that's listening to us now in Southern California, and this goes out around the world through our audience, that, you know what, it's all a test. Sometimes you just have to deal with it. And right now we're being tested, and it's all going to be fine in the end. Okay? And that's the way that I look at it. Thank you so much, Korinne.
Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
Have a great night. Korinne Wilson, everybody. Now, over at jimmychurchradio.com, the links for her website are right there. You can do that. She's got some great videos and stuff that are over there. And all of her contact information is there as well. And she is obviously up on Twitter with us tonight at Occult Priestess. And it's right there on Twitter. Great conversation tonight. And I want to thank her son, too, as well, Dylan, for calling in. Now, I mean this, even and I know that you hear me on the radio each night, and I'm Mr. Uppity guy and stuff. And tonight I probably started off, a little down. Look, I'm just like everybody else. And this has been a very, very trying week for Southern California. This has been a genuine test. And when When the power went out, let's back up. This is the end of the week for us here. Tonight is Thursday. When the power went out on Monday night with Korinne, trying to get her on the show, it was a sign of things to come. And it was frustrating. And we never pull the plug on a show. We could not get through it, right? And the next morning, we woke up to what nobody should wake up to. Now, our home is okay. Our family is okay. But there have been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of families that have lost their homes here in Southern California, and it's going to continue. A very close friend of mine that I have known 93, what is that, 24, 25 years. His name is Lynn. Right before the show tonight, posted pictures of what is left of his house in Ventura. It's just the foundation. And in the middle of it's burnt. It's nothing. There's nothing left. In the middle of the foundation was a music stand sitting. It's the only thing that didn't melt or burn down in his home. The home itself is completely gone, and there's a music stand sitting there. And now I've known Lynn 25 years. Cool guy, and a great musician too as well. But the point is, he said, you know what? We are going to rebuild, and we will build a house that will be full of music and art. And that's his attitude. And I am sitting here exhausted, but my, Rita and our home is okay. And our children are okay, and our pets are okay. It's been a stressful week, but we haven't been through anything like some of the stress that other families have been through here in Southern California. Okay? So it's been trying. It's been a test, but I'm just letting you know, we're all going through this, and we're going through this together. Okay? Now, Scott, you just said you just got notice that Sherman Oaks has a fire? Oh, man. And see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's been going on like this all day long. I don't see anything here about Sherman Oaks yet, but that is amazing. I lived in Sherman Oaks for 15 years. Very small community right next to Burbank. Oh, man. All right. Well, listen. If you can hear my voice, everybody have a relaxing weekend. Be uppity. Think positive. We have a long weekend to go through here in Southern California, and they're talking about these winds not ending and increasing all the way through Sunday night. And that is just too much to even think about, but we'll get through it, and we will make it. I want to thank Korinne Wilson tonight, and again, her son Dylan for calling in. That was absolutely amazing. And it is all going to be good here. We're going to be just fine. We will stay in touch with everybody through social media over the weekend, and we will see you Monday night right here on Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show's produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Until Monday, I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.